Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of A Crystal Clear Mind. And today I have the absolute blessing of being joined by Bobbie Town. Morning, Bobbie. No, not morning. I've done it again. It's afternoon. Afternoon, Bobbie. I am on a roll today. Honestly, I am. If you guys could see the bloopers going on behind the scenes, I might have to release them, honestly. I think I need more coffee. Good afternoon, Bobbie. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today. Bobbie is one of many of my guests that are just multi-talented woman. She is, what was the term you used earlier? Energy, frequency and vibration. Love that, because this kind of covers all the areas and all the aspects that Bobbie is going to talk about today, and all the areas that she kind of works in. But I mean, she's got so much to talk about between energy healing and mediumship and animal communication and her beautiful organite creations, I think I'm going to call them, your organite resin creations. But enough about that. On to you, Bobbie. Tell us all about yourself, my lovely.
Hello, so thank you for having me. And yeah, and the beautiful introduction. So yeah, as you say, I suppose the absolute core of me is exactly how you described, is frequency, energy and vibration. It has been since day dot. Like, I don't remember being any different, to be fair. I don't know how to be any different. I know I've see the world very differently to many people, and I've known that from a very young age. I suppose I wasn't aware to the extent of it until I suppose I started getting a bit older, say primary school level. I would be around a lot of animals all the time. And don't get me wrong, I was very good with people, but I had this insane connection with animals for sure, where people couldn't really, what's the word? Get their heads around.
Yeah.
I suppose it was quite surreal, you know, the connection I had, and the interactions I would have. And then getting on to later life, I had an interesting upbringing, should I say. I very much brought myself up. So that obviously shaped a lot of things in my life. But then again, I never missed out. You know, because I had this magnetic energy that I would always don't really like using the word manifesting, but I would always attract, shall we say, people around.
I think it's because the word's been a bit ruined. I think that I feel like that about it as well. I actually love the concept of manifestation, but I think it's been a bit maybe overused. I'm not too sure. Yeah. But I know what you mean. That attraction.
Yeah, because I think it's because, like many things, sadly, in what we label nowadays, for conversational sake, the spiritual world, I think a lot of aspects have become, sadly, very commercialised.
Yeah.
And they're just buzzwords rather than actual any deep meaning to them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as I was saying,
Yeah,
I
it does
suppose
happen.
I attracted people in my life to fill those roles. And I was very much all those roles to myself anyway, but you know, I did find older ladies, I suppose, that filled the mother role, or my friends or siblings that I never had, you know, so that was very much my life. And then I suppose I left home at 19 officially. And that's, I suppose, when my life really started. The lessons really started to be learning.
Yeah.
Because I was out in the world, you know, not just isolating myself underneath this family home with a load of animals, you know. So I suppose I started relating to the world a bit more. Fast forward into my late 20s, I suppose, then I got diagnosed with a form of brain tumour. Involved with this. It was a very toxic family I was around. I'd been around a lot of toxic families. I'd lived in many homes, never really having had foundations of a safe environment. And that was basically what they call the icing on the cake. I'm very much into what they call metaphysical health. So you will manifest illness in your body related to traumas that you've got running.
Yeah.
And that was definitely one of them. It was literally just like a lifetime's worth of trauma just exploded. Because what the nature of that illness was it was a tumour that messed with my whole energetic system and my nervous system, I suppose the neural pathways of where it was right here. It's like in your major master gland that controls everything. So I had like a dangerous, life-threatening level of cortisol running through my body 24/7. So
How
you
old
can
were you,
imagine
said? You were 20?
late 20s, about 26, 27 roughly. Don't quote me on that, but around about that age.
Wow, that's a
apparently,
lot.
apparently it was very, very rare, especially in someone as young as me. Not only is the condition rare, but that was rare on top of that. And yeah, they'd never really seen a case like it. Like it was, when they say stress kills, I was literally walking proof of that. you know, literally all of my organs were failing, and a rapid speed as well. So I knew that I had to do something about it. I had the top neurosurgeons and specialists in the whole of the UK dealing with my case. And so you can imagine the looks on their faces when I refused all of their treatments, all of their surgeries. Because to me, I wasn't fearful, you know, someone else on a different perspective. Like, it was the first time I'd actually had a heated argument with quite a few close people in my life. Because, and I see where they were coming from. They were just fearful because I'm saying, the doctors are telling me, well, you're going to die then, basically, very quickly, if you don't have our surgery. And I'm like, no, I'll be fine. you know, and people that are very much trusting people like that, authorities of the medical system, I fully respect, but that's not my way of going. If I'm going to put it, you know, discreetly or generically, then I knew I was going to be fine. I just had this inner knowing. No, I know what it is. I know what's caused it. I just work on that. And so I did. I went down the spiritual, holistic route. And it wasn't even military. People were like, oh my God, what did you do? And I'm like, really simple stuff. you know, it's just like the basics of a human needs, basically. So oxygen, right? Tumours can't live in a fully oxygenated body. It's impossible. So I started off in breath work. It's this thing called transformational breath. It's not meditation as such, but it's a certain way of breathing. They teach belly breathing, so it was the first time I'd really got my head around that most people do what we call chest breathing because they're in constant state, so you don't actually what they call belly breathe and breathe throughout your whole system because everyone's stressed nowadays. I learned how to belly breathe, and actually, hand on heart, since then it's just as easy as, you know, existing. I'm constantly belly breathing, so which is cool. So yeah, that was and also she goes, the specific therapist I saw, she doesn't do it anymore, sadly. I was mortified when I found out she'd retired, but yeah, lovely lady called Leslie. So yeah, she goes round and presses all of the pressure points as well. And she was a spiritual healer in her own right, you know, so she was energy healing as well as doing that. I suppose it'd be like energy healing acupuncture without the needles, right? Yeah, and she'd have these special, very personalised incantations that she'd chant while she was doing it. So yeah, so that was the first thing that I hit across. Then I bought actually no, that's a lie. I didn't buy my distiller first. Pure water. 100% clean water, but I couldn't afford one at the time, so I put because I work with crystals. If you put shungite crystals in your water, it purifies the water. So I was doing that for quite a while. I went completely vegan, only because there was a certain element of animals as well in it, of the animal rights stuff, but the majority of it was because I needed to heal quick.
Surely there's got to be a bit of a conflict of interest there with the fact that you are so close to the animals as well. Are you still vegan now?
No, I'm not. Yeah, this is a whole story with that, with the vegan, non-vegan, right? So yeah, so at the time it felt right, and because I knew that through channeled messages, because as we mentioned, I do some mediumship myself, so I've got a lot of spirit guides around me. Animals included, as well as the human ones, if you like, and the angelic ones and whatnot. but yes, I went completely vegan because I knew the quicker I got some decent nutrition in me, it would heal
Yeah.
my human meat suit, I call it, quicker.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because obviously I wasn't going to get rid of it until I'd worked out my trauma, you know, to help dissipate it. But I don't believe in, you can't just do one thing. That's
No,
why
you've
it's
got to have the whole.
soul. Yeah, you have to work on the whole, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we're still human. So we've still got this vessel that carries our soul. So we still need to work on that, you know, for optimum health. So nutrition was a big thing. Hence why I went vegan, because I was getting like all the vegetables and fruits and stuff that I needed. I worked with essential oils. I work massively with those on an everyday basis. It's just as easy I breathe. I work with doTERRA oils specifically, because in my opinion they're the best ones in the world, because they're 100% pure. Their ethics around it, how they source them and how they treat their farmers and the people that source it are bang on for me. And they're food graded, so they're actually safe to ingest.
Okay.
Yeah, and not many oils are.
No.
That just emphasises the fact that they're 100% pure, because the oils are coming directly from that plant, you know, or herb or whatever one it is. So yeah, essential oils. And then, so that was the basis of it. And then I got really into sound healing. I actually started, like, I'm a drummer. So if I'm going to a sound bath, I love a drum bath. That's my favourite. But for the savagery I was in, I needed something gentle.
Yeah.
And I think crystal singing bowls are so gentle and so angelic. And that's exactly what I needed at that time. So, and sound heat frequency healing is insane. It is so powerful.
It's very powerful. Very powerful. And it's a beautiful thing. I do know people that can't cope with it. They actually cannot deal with that feeling, because it can be quite overwhelming, can't it? But
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't even realise I love a sound bath. You know, I just absolutely love a sound bath. Every time I can get a chance, I agree with you. I think that the drumming, it really resonates lower in our chakras. It's like really resonant to the root.
Well, it's
Whereas what
ground.
you needed here was you needed to be more in the upper.
Yeah, for
So you're
sure.
working with the beautiful crystal bowls, which I think is gorgeous. And you're right, they sound so ethereal, don't they?
Yeah, and I think that was the nature of it, because it was so fascinating. Like, you can't make this up. I was going to say something else, Jen, but I'm not sure if you.
You can swear. You can
Okay,
swear.
you can't make this shit up then. Because of where it was. It was right on my third eye. Like, when we
Yeah.
get more into my story, you realise why that was so relevant. I was like, this is just insane. So yeah, like you're right with the singing bowls, without me even being aware of it. And I'm very aware now that in my life, I'm so tuned into my intuition. I just follow it. I don't even question it. Even if I'm like, well, that's a bit mental, and I won't find out. I'll go with it, but I won't find out why I really needed to do that with obviously my messages, until like, it doesn't even have to be instant. It could be months later. It could even be years later. And I'm like, oh, I realise I did that. So as you say, the crystal singing bowls are definitely for a crown chakra thing, for sure, to
Yeah.
open me up.
Definitely.
And then, yeah, so it just went along like that, really, very rapidly. And long story short of it, I cured that tumour and every single organ in my body. And that's including hair, nails, skin, you know, it was literally everything. Muscles, organ function in less than a year. And that was, I only found that out officially because I got through scans. Because the first scan, say in the January, I think it was, that I had, it was clearly quite a prominent lump, you know,
Yeah.
on my gland. You could see it from miles away. And then the second, I'll never forget it, the second scan I had, went in, I kind of knew that I was feeling better anyway, intuitively, but I just needed to, I was all over the place, you can imagine, mentally, in my mental state, we're going through all of that, not to mention everything else that was going on in life, to healing all my stuff, you know, on a soul level, that, yeah, I went into my scan, and the people that conducted it were like, oh, We're going to have to come back. I'm ever so sorry. It was the fastest response of results I'd ever got. And then I was like, okay. So I humoured them. I went back. Still, they're like, oh, well, this is really strange. We can't find anything, sorry. And they said, and it's the healthiest brain stem cell they'd ever seen on record. Nothing there. So they were like, okay, where do we go from this then? Because it was, it was really severe, as I said earlier. Top specialists in the whole of the UK, and then I'm refusing all of their surgeries and treatments, and then all of a sudden it's gone. They can't get their head around it. So yeah, apparently it got to, they had a big board of specialists then from everywhere, trying to discuss my case and what might have happened. So I'm chuckling away to myself because obviously I knew what had happened. So after that, I suppose that's when things really kicked off for me. In the meantime, I'd met this very powerful medium, who kind of triggered off, just being around him, triggered off my mediumship, I suppose, and the ability to channel. But yeah, that's when, after I cleared that, that's when messages started coming thick and fast. Straight after that, my nan got very sick very quickly. She'd, bless her heart, she'd had enough of this world and literally thought herself out of this world. She'd looked after the family so much, I think she'd had enough. She was just exhausted. And I promised that I'd care for her, so I did. She was very much home-based until she couldn't be there any longer because she didn't have the means and the facilities to keep her stable, I suppose, as stable as you can be when you're on your way out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was one particular day I remember really vividly, and she was like, I'm scared. It's just me and her. And I was like, what are you scared of, Nan? She says, well, I'm not really scared of dying, but I'm scared of being alone when I die. I was like, oh, bless you. I said, well, I promise I will be there by your side when that time comes. Again, fast forward, not very long at all, I ended up, instead of being at home, I would be there every day in that hospital because it wasn't allowed to stay. But luckily, it was literally 5 seconds down the road, so I'd be there as soon as I could, and right till when they kicked me out. But yeah, I stuck true to my words, and I was there holding her hand and holding her as she went and took her last breaths. And all I can say is, as weird as it sounds, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, she
I
was
can
so
understand that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was her time to go. And as much as I love my nan, I was gutted that she was leaving, and she wouldn't be able to see some of my major things in life. Well, I say that loosely. Well, wouldn't be present here. Because obviously she sees everything that I do, and she's been very much a key influence on moving mountains for me, as far as I'm concerned. I think the spirit, when they're in spirit form, they can do so much more for you in some aspects than they could ever do as in their physical human body, and she definitely did that. But yeah, I literally kept saying to her, look, it's safe to go, I'm here, it's fine. And she did. She just took her last breath, like, proper peacefully, and I literally saw her soul leave her body. It was insane. So that was the first, because this is quite relevant, because that was the first soul I'd helped transition. And after that, it's been a domino effect, just touching briefly of that's definitely one of my soul purposes, because I work more with the animals on that respect. Like, Nan was a separate case of humans, if you like. But definitely for animals, the animals do come to me to die, as crazy as that sounds.
You said that before, didn't you? Yeah, so they're attracted to you as if you are their guide over to the other side.
Yeah, for sure. And I open up that bridge on an energetic level for a smooth transition, And it's all through love, because that's exactly what I vibrate from permanently. I'm fully in the present from my heart chakra all the time. So I allow that. I literally last week, I've just started working with birds again, but I can talk about that a bit later. But literally, this young pigeon had manifested in its reality to literally last minutes, get dropped off to my door, so I could literally just. It was a bit of a dump and run, bless her heart. She didn't know what to do with it. This lady that dropped her off. But yeah, it literally, I just held it, cradled it in my arms, gave it a little kiss, and whispered in its ear, you know, you're safe now, you're with me, it's safe to go, I've got you. And it literally, again, it just took its last breaths and just drifted off really peacefully. And I've done that with all sorts of, like, I've lost count how many animals I've done that with. So yeah, that's a big part, a unique, I think, part of, because not everyone does that.
Yeah, that is quite unique. And having had a couple of animal communicators on here, and animal mediums and healers, there is a lot more to the passing of an animal than what we see. You know, but that, as you put it earlier, you know, for us it's a meat suit, and for them it's not too dissimilar. They're now just going back to source. And they're going to move on. They're going to go help someone else and do their life's purpose elsewhere, doing something else. And it's been actually a really beautiful set of conversations, because I think you're the third. You're my fourth. You're my fourth animal communicator. You're all very different to each other, very different to each other. So it's actually really like a beautiful circle now that I've got all this wonderful information about. But yeah, it's beautiful that they've got somewhere to go, as you said, to give them that space and hold that space for them.
Yeah, well, at first it really upset me because I didn't quite know what was going on. Like, I did and I didn't. But there was this really prominent moment that it was literally everything went in slow motion, and it was the most intense spirit-led message I ever had, because they were channeling through this other person that was delivering a message. An actual human, you know, was speaking, but I knew it was channeled for sure by this massively high being. And they just said to me, but what an honour that is. And then I reflected instantly back to my nan, and I was just like, wow, because I work with animals on the spirit guide level, like, so I work with a lot of rescues. So I'm flitting back and forth a bit here just to explain the point. And so when an animal comes into your life, a lot of people call them pets. I call them companions, because I don't see them as, we don't own them. They choose to live with us, you know. They come into our reality. So animals on this earth with humans are our biggest guides. We get so much messages from them if you're open to hear. And so they will come into your life to teach you all sorts of things for specific elements of your life. So when they pass, it's because they've sort of done their job.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, right, I've helped you with that. I'm so proud of you, human. Now it's my time to go. And as you say, beautifully articulated, return to source. So I'm so in tune with that animal's energy that I can feel when it's fully transitioned. So, and every animal's different, just like any human, you know. So there will be times where I hold it longer, or just to help it. You know, they're all different. Like there was this particular rabbit, say for instance, she was so scared about going. It was the first time I'd heard a bunny scream. She was that scared. And so I had to really calm her down. And then I had the energy of, funny enough, an organite pendant I'd made with, because I do memorial organites as well, with the energy of her partner bunny that had passed before. And I said, it's okay, he's going to come and get you. You know, your little buddy's going to come and get you. And he did. I could feel him coming. And so that made her feel a lot better. But yeah, so and then I have this standard, because I don't really like to cremate animals. I feel like they're part of the world, they're part of nature. And so it's totally back to earth. And it's a way of giving the earth back, a gift as well, you know, of another soul. So yeah, I generally leave it like a standard 3 days, to then honour the body, honour the soul. I'll give it a little ceremony, and then I'll go and bury it back into the earth, and then that's quite a ceremonial thing as well. I'll sit there, I'll light a little candle for it, and sort of speak to my spirit guides on, you know, taking the body back and stuff. So yeah, so that's quite a unique part of my animal work that I do. Going to the birds though, which is interesting. So yeah, so I've had this big affinity with birds. Like, I work with all sorts of animals, but this is my latest venture, I suppose. Birds on a soul deep level. It turns out in a past life I worked with the avian people, so it all makes sense now. And I was also bridge between a lot, and this will all become clear later as well, a bridge between like the humanity and animals in general. So that would make sense, because one of the big things I've got here. So when I say talk about my animal communication, I suppose I'm a bit unique in how I work, and I explain that to my clients. So when they come to me and say, "Oh, I've heard you're a really good animal communicator. I've heard a lot about you. Like, what kind of services do you offer?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I work again frequency, energy, and vibration. So, like, I don't need full-on conversations and words." So I do make them aware of that, because some people, I think, just expect you to have a full-blown conversation with them, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I get words, and if you need a message, they think you need a human worded message, then I'll give it. But I work from an inner knowing. I tune into their energy, and it's more of a telepathy thing, of just knowing about what they feel and what they're thinking through that. So yeah, there's that part. But yeah, so I'm a bridge between. Oh no, that's where I was going with that. So yeah, so then I say to them, but I'd rather teach you how to talk to your animal. So I'm more of because I'm here to connect humanity back to animal connection, basically.
Right.
Because I say, like any mediumship, you know, it's not. Oh, I wouldn't say this kind of communication. It's not a special gift. We're not special for being able to do it. Anyone can do it. And I think it's just a case of people having the confidence to know that they've got the ability to do it as well. So yeah, I'm more of a teacher of how to communicate with the animals, and I've helped a lot of people, you know, and I'm saying, right, this is what the animal's feeling, and don't forget that it'll reflect back what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
And again,
They are big mirrors, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it goes back to the metaphysical health thing that I was speaking about earlier, about trauma. So a perfect example when I talk about animals mirroring back your stuff, if you like my bunny. So when I weren't seeing things clearly, he would get really sore eyes, and I knew exactly what it meant, and they would not go. Like, obviously I wouldn't leave him in discomfort. I'm a natural spiritual healer, so I would use ailments and energy healing and stuff to ease his pain and discomfort, but it would not fully go until I'd nailed what I wasn't seeing clearly, and then would literally go overnight like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always ask my client as well, like, what's going on in your life, you know, because they're our biggest teachers, as what I alluded to earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, so going back to the birds, so yeah, I used to have birds. I rehabilitated a crow. I've helped some pigeons previously, and the blackbirds. And I used to have my own parrot. And then for various reasons, birds, I got made homeless several times, and so I couldn't keep them, unfortunately, because I didn't know where I was going to end up. Birds are very different, especially how I kept my birds, because I didn't really keep them. Like my crow, for instance, just flew around the house. I had my own ecosystem, if you like, in all my houses, even now. Like every single animal, I've got so many of different species, like the cats, the snakes, the tortoises, at that time the crow. They all got on, they all talked to each other, and it was just lived harmoniously, right? So the cats absolutely loved this bird, and the bird used to get in with the bunnies and cuddle with the bunnies and stuff like that, right? It was kind of that idea. So yeah, unfortunately I found the best wildlife sanctuaries I could find for them, but it broke my heart. Really broke my heart, that one. And then years later, fast forward, cut a long story short, I've very recently started to really miss like bird energy, and it's interesting because it relates to freedom and me flying finally.
Okay, yeah. I can see the correlation.
Synchronicity, yeah, how that's happened. And again, when I say like I'm in such alignment now, I'm literally speaking things into existence. It's insane. So I literally said to my partner, like, this was about a month ago, the couple of weeks prior to it actually happening, I was like, I really miss having birds around. I really miss my crow, blah, blah, blah. And then this message popped up on my feed, or this post, should I say. And she was saying, like, oh, I work for this bird and wildlife rescue. Unfortunately, I have to retire, but we are needing extra volunteers. and someone obviously to fill my space. Like, would anyone be interested? And I had a bit of a fuck it moment, and I was just like, right, reply to that. Didn't really think it would go anywhere. You know, this massively well-known bird saver, if you like. And so, yeah, I was just completely open and honest and said, I don't know how I'm going to help you, but I have got experience with birds and I work with animals. You know, I'm a very experienced animal communicator and healer and stuff, and I just went from there. She replied, didn't even vet me out, right? Replied practically instantly. Within a week, I had my first rescue bird delivered to my door. So yeah, it has
But
been
those bucket moments, they are the best moments, because they are when you just, you do it all from heart and intuition. You're not thinking, you're not allowing yourself to think, because otherwise we would stop ourselves, we would doubt it. And the best things come from that, you know?
Yeah, and I think I'm always reading and looking, not looking for, but I'm always reading and acknowledging signs given to me, even the most subtle ones. And I'm like, right, that's a sign. Let's just go for it. So for me, because I'd been talking about birds for ages, and that, out of all things, randomly through, and I get that a lot on my feeds. Like, I'll be talking about something, and then something will pop up to give me that opportunity. So I'm like, yeah, go for that. And so it's been the most beautiful experience, and it's really funny because she can't get her head around how quick these birds are healing, because they come to me like, can't fly, massive wounds everywhere, like, you know, quite deep flesh wounds. And within a week, my first pigeon had got completely healed, flying. So I released her. She was very young. That was really beautiful first release. But the second one that I did last week was another pigeon. And it was like a movie moment. You couldn't make this up. So again, she had a massive wound on her back, and she was really badly attacked. Lost quite a few of her flight feathers.
That's a shame.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, she's going to be with me for a while. But I'm no word of a lie. Within whatever I was doing or not doing, because I've realised as well, just being my aura, my energy frequency, people just being in my presence heals them. Like, I can't stop it. It just goes, it's just autopilot. Yeah. I have the same with humans as well. They said they feel so much better by literally just sitting next to me. And within a couple of weeks, she was flying around my house, and her wounds had healed, and she was growing feathers back. But so I was like, right, and she told me, I can hear them when they're like, yeah, I'm ready to go now, thank you. So the morning that she was just like, yeah, I'm ready to go now, thank you, I love you. And so I put her in the cat carrier. The place that I released them is literally 5 minutes down the road. So I bundled her down. I could see she was looking out the front door, getting all excited. And I got to the park, and I literally, because she was so excited, I thought she was going to fly out, because she'd been flying around, because it got to the last day before I released her. She just literally wanted to be out of her crate and just be with me, to the point where she just sat on my laptop just watching me, just because she literally wanted to be with me. So I thought she was going to just fly, but she didn't. She just sat there all patiently in a carrier, waiting for me to get her out. So I put my hand in, she's jumped on my hand. This is a pigeon, a wild pigeon. And then I pulled her out, and then she looked at me. She jumped on my shoulder. She gave me some love, because she loved sitting on my shoulder. So I took her back off again. I said, you ready? And I don't know how the hell I manifested that. Completely empty park. No one was there. Bearing in mind, it's normally really busy. Absolutely no one was there. So that was meant to be. And then she looked at me, she said her last goodbye, and she literally flew off so gracefully. And then she gained height, she got higher and higher, to the point where she was higher than the buildings and the trees. And then she literally just spread her wings and just was soaring in circles around my head, going, look at me, I'm free. She was like, thank you so much. I could hear her like clear as day. And I was like, that's okay. And I got really emotional, like a proud mum. Because I'd nurtured this bird.
Exactly.
From like savage wounds and can't fly, and now all of a sudden she's loving life because she can be a bird again. And the most beautiful part, because it gets better, the most beautiful part was after her little freedom thing. She just really gracefully landed on a roof, and then a little pigeon came and sat next to her straight away. And then she flew off with said pigeon, her new friend, but then another flock of pigeons came and joined them. So I was like, wow, she's already found friends. Brilliant.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow, that is literally reflects exactly what's going on with my life now.
Yeah.
Like, my whole life, like working towards, I say working towards loosely, like working through shit, if you like, and being patient and believing and setting intentions of knowing what my purpose was, but waiting because I knew it would happen when the time was right. I've never been a chaser. I work on stuff, don't get me wrong, and I don't just sit back and go, oh, right, the universe will provide. There is still an element of making stuff happen with action, you know, with intention.
Yeah.
For sure. And so that's what I've done, just with an insane amount of trust, a bit like my tomb, I suppose, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so if things are just literally flying for me, so I was like, that's perfect. So and I'm meeting in the with the flock of pigeons. I'm meeting so many people nowadays. Just, you know, when they say you start finding your tribe.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not looking for them. They are just
No,
literally.
you're probably attracting them though.
Yeah, for sure.
Attracting like-minded people, I would say.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. Like I've just started up a women's group in my area because I didn't know I was going to speak about that. Interesting message come through. Yeah, so basically I've networked, talking about finding your tribe concept now. I've networked, I suppose, in the corporate networking heavily since I was 15. Bearing in mind I'm like nearly 36 now. And I was representing a small family-run photography business that I was manager of. It was just me and the photographer, just really small. And I realised that became quite aware. Like I was okay personally because I'm just that type of person. I can be in environments like that and still be myself and not care what others think. However, I did witness or observed, should I say, was probably a better word for it. It can be a very intimidating place. And it's not as supportive as they make it out. A lot of them cost a lot financially. And I just didn't get a very good vibe off of them. You know, like I can't deny that I've found some amazing lifelong friends from networking for sure. And I've got a lot of valuable experience for confidence of presenting and stuff. But like the pressure that's put on people for like these 2-minute pitches, and it's all very silly, you know.
Very, especially when you're looking more for connection than you are
exactly. And
sales, you know.
For sure, and that's what networking. Again, when we talked about words being twisted, networking literally just means meeting people.
Yeah.
You know, but now people hear the term networking and they freak out because it's just like this intimidating, pressure building, not very nice, cold, no connection, selling sort of environment.
Yeah.
And so for years I've been thinking I want to set my own group up one day that's networking but not networking, if that makes sense. So that's exactly what I've done. My first one was last week, very successfully.
How did it go?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. So basically, it's literally just, I want to call, I suppose the only word to say is a gathering more, I find is a nice gentle. I'm still trying to find my way of describing it because I'm still not settling on gathering, but that's exactly what it was. It was a group of women. Because I feel like women very much at the moment need, from just hearing, like I'm not about separation. I'm very much about yin yang, and I love being around guy and men's energy, you know. I love being around the masculine, but in my networking experience was the ladies, women's networking groups. That's where I wanted to make the difference. Especially with this rise of the energy feminine.
Yeah, there is,
and coming into our power and actually finding ourselves, you know. And there's also quite a flip on that because I'm very passionate about men's mental health. So without sounding, I don't know how to word this, but there's a lot of men haters out there as well when it comes into the women's groups. And I wanted to come away from that as well. So it's
Yeah,
basically,
it does. It can naturally gravitate in that. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot in the world to be angry about at the moment,
yeah, for sure.
especially with that kind of energy. But yeah, yeah, groups of
Do you
women
know what
together
it was?
sometimes can lean towards
Yeah, and
that. Yeah,
I don't want to focus too much about that because I'm not about negativity, but a lot, again, just on observation, it's not an opinion, it's on observation and fact that I found a lot of groups that were trying to be similar to what I'm creating, but there's an overbalance. So there's too much women empowerment, as in we don't need men, and do you know what I mean? Fiercely too much in their masculine. And
yeah,
I was like, no, I want my groups for us to be coming into our feminine, to allow the masculine in, for that balance yin yang energy, you know?
yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to create. But yeah, so it's basically just come as yourself, completely authentic you. This is a safe space to be seen, held, heard, and supported, you know?
Nice.
And it closes off with a meditation, so you're in a really chilled out state after leaving. There's always a sound healing I want to put in there because that's been such a big, and I'm very musical myself, so I work with all sorts of instruments. I've actually got my own drum. If we go back to drumming, I birthed it myself because I'm a shamanic healer, so and I work with the animals, so that was very important for me to birth it.
Yeah,
But that's another story in itself. But yeah, so there'll be some sound healing sort of. It's not a taster. That I will go around working on each individual in the group, but you know, some form of that, and a card pull because I read cards as well. So they're the like power of three, if you like, the three that will always be elements that will always be in my groups. And
yeah,
then there'll be like a running theme to it, you know, as such. Like the next one is based around very close to the summer solstice. So we'll include a bit of that, you know, and things that women like to connect with. So yeah, that's kind of, and obviously the first part will be like I'm so and so, and they just basically talk about as much or as little as they want, and whatever they want to talk about. You know, there's no set, like I said in normal networking groups. My name is such and such, and I do this. You know what I mean? And I am looking for. It's nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. It's literally just purely focused on connection. And meeting, like you said, like-minded people.
yeah,
And,
exactly. That sort of grounded energy, so that
sure.
because we do better when we relax. If we're relaxed and we're chilled, we talk free. We
Yeah,
speak with fluidity, and we probably speak more from the heart in that state. About the things that we're passionate about. If we're freaking out and terrified of talking for 2 minutes,
for
I've always
sure.
hated those salesy pitches.
I know.
I don't like listening to them, but I certainly do not like doing them at all.
No, for sure. And I was the same, you know. And I was one of the confident ones that didn't mind talking, but I hate them as well. Like, so yeah. So I've very successful first meeting.
Where
Like
was it? Where do you host this? Is
in Halstead.
that one? I wanted to say Leon C, but yeah, Housestead. Okay.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
interesting. That's where I used to network in Lee.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, tuning into
I would
me.
love to say how funny is that, but
Yeah,
these
not in
things,
our
they do
world.
happen. They do happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
very
that's where
cool.
I
It
used
came through
to do
literally.
most of
It's
my
like
network.
me. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm now based in Halstead. One of my closest friends, she's quite well known actually in the mediumship spiritual world. She's got like up here. She's got a shop called Crystal Healing Halstead, which is her original shop, basically like a crystal spiritual shop. Like she's a full blown medium amongst a ton of other things she's really gifted at. Like she's a master Reiki healer and all sorts of other stuff she does. But that was her shop originally that she's had
Yeah.
for many years. And then very recently she's opened up a second premises in Halstead to host things like workshops and
Oh, nice.
a space, and basically again along the similar ethos, you know, just to build a community of like-minded people and have them, because again hiring spaces are so expensive nowadays. It's just all about
It
money.
is. It is.
Um,
And unfortunately, as a business person, you can see why it needs to be that price, but it doesn't mean that you can actually utilize it at that price either. So you're almost
no,
like between a rock and a hard place going, I do get it, but I just can't have it. Sorry.
yeah, exactly. So it kind of limits people because they
Yeah.
need to get out there, but they can't because they can't afford it because they need that stepping stone, but it doesn't happen. So yeah, that's what Maria's, and I'm a big part of that. Like that was my first thing I've done as a workshop facilitator, if you like. I'll
Yeah.
be doing many more, but I'm predominantly a massive face of her business now. I help her a lot and assist on some of her workshops that she needs helping with. It's the most beautiful space, and you instantly just walk in there and it's like a different world. The energy is just so different. So yeah, it's a lovely space to be in, to be fair. So yeah, to the point where it was so successful, I know I'm in alignment with that because already for the next one I've literally doubled the numbers without even trying. For my next group, and I know it's going to, like, intuitively I know it's going to
Yeah.
keep growing and growing, to the point where I'll probably have to do some more days, and it's become quite apparent that evening sessions would be good, because of people that can't get out of work. I don't want to, this is for all
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, a main ethos of my group is what's the word? That's the
Inclusivity.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want everyone, for like, it doesn't have to be people just from what people label as the spiritual people. I want absolutely everyone to feel safe here, you
Yeah.
know, all walks of life, where whatever level or whatever part of life you're at or in. And as I say, I don't want the daytimes to limit people if they can do the evenings, you know, because for me it's just about connecting people and bringing themselves
Yeah.
back
I
into
do. I
themselves.
think I almost sort of feel it very, very quickly. You're going to need to add a lot more sessions to that, definitely. Different times, different days to suit
Yeah, for
people.
sure.
It's a
To suit
wonderful thing.
absolutely
It's
everyone.
absolutely fabulous. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it? More reach as well. You're
For
getting to more people,
sure.
connecting more people. I think that's lovely.
Yeah, and again, it just goes back to what my core is: energy,
Yeah,
frequency, vibration. You know,
yeah,
I'm bringing people back into themselves, and to then branch out and connect with other people, and just feel safe in this really chaotic world and feel seen and heard, which a lot of people don't.
yeah. I think that's why everyone's kind of floundering at the moment, is because we all feel like we're not being seen or heard or paid attention
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
or we're just sort of being left to it, and it's not really
Yeah.
working for anyone.
No. So yeah, so there's that. So then I suppose that I could quite nicely link into there about meeting new people myself, because I'd quite like to speak about my organite actually, because that's quite unique. So again, think along the lines of, I work with crystals anyway. I have done my whole life. So again, think of energy, vibration, and frequency, right? That's what crystals do. So organite is basically a term for a collection of materials. So you've got copper, that's your main ingredient, if you like, which is a very powerful protective metal. And a copper spiral, if you spiral it, that creates an energy field. So
Mhm.
with a quartz crystal, when you're working with crystals, you put a quartz crystal with another vibration of material and it will instantly amplify its energy. So the main part of the organite is wrapping a copper spiral around a quartz point. I can show you some in a minute. I'll show you, look, I've got some visuals for people. So I don't know if you can see that, but
Nice.
that's your quartz points with the copper spiral, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically the heart, I'm going to call it a heart, of all of my products, because it's really important. Like, there's so many people out there saying they're doing organite without the main parts of, I'm like,
You
oh.
must be just hold on a second. I never tend to go off camera, but hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking of something I bought years and probably about
Okay.
5 years ago.
Mhm.
There's no copper in that.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah,
yeah, they can't. They can't call
there's
it
no
organite.
copper in
That's
it.
just ornamental.
Yeah, no, it's definitely ornamental. You kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, I thought it had it. I'm sure it is in the bottom of it, but I just had a
Yeah.
look and no, it's not.
No, right. So
Very
yeah. So
pretty though.
So yeah, that's the main part of it, right? And then you use other crystals that work with it, and that's very personal because then the other crystals, as you probably know, I'm sure you work with crystals as well. I'm sure you
I
said.
do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so then they'll have their additional properties, which brings into the nature of the harmony of the organite, and then mixed metals. So generally, it's you're thinking brass, aluminium, the copper, obviously. Iron filings are very powerful, very very powerful, and then you encase it all in the resin. So then what the resin does, it's like the glue. So then instantly you've encased that energy in a very concentrated magnetic field of protective energy. So then the main core of an organite, or ethos of it, is to protect you from EMFs, radiation and any negative energies. And then, as I said earlier, then the extra crystals that you use will have their additional properties to it. So it's very personal to whatever organite you're drawn to, because you kind of pick it yourself like any other crystal. And then it gets even deeper, because I would call myself an organite specialist because I do all sorts of shapes with whatever it resonates to people. I don't just do pyramids.
Okay.
But there is the extra layer of the pyramid, and the geometric shapes will obviously have the power of geometry in it as well. So there's all sorts of layers to it. So yeah, as I say, I have got some things with me here. So I've got little organite skulls.
Oh,
So
that's so
the
cute.
brain, I call it the brain, is see, look, you can
That's
see.
very cute, though.
Yeah, so that's a little one, but I've got shapes inside. That's the bigger one.
Yeah.
He's very powerful. I love him. I literally sold one of these at the event the other day. I've got some hearts. That's a big heart.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So I've got what I call the ornamentals. So that I say that because that's like things that I'm just very blessed to make them look really aesthetically pretty.
Yeah.
As well as being a powerful healing tool. Because on top of what I forgot to mention is that I'm a shamanic healer as well. So I hand make all these from scratch. A bit like how I birthed my drum, I call it I birthed these organite creations. Like I won't, like any energetic healer and therapist, I don't make them if I'm in a funny space, because it's important to me. It's a powerful healing tool at the end of the day. I'm gifting someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're taking, along with when I said about the resin being the glue of harnessing that energy, you're also harnessing my energy in that.
Yeah.
So I need to harness the best energy I've got for that client, because they've got then a portable healing tool, of mine.
Yeah.
So I've got what I call the ornamentals, which are ones that you place around wherever you're in. So a lot of people suggest putting it near your Wi-Fi, like EMF radiation things. So that's like your pyramids, and I've got like a pentagon here.
That's nice.
That's a big one. I've got little mini ones as well. I've got my little moon for the moon lovers out there.
That would be me.
Yeah, I thought, see, this is one of my favourites because I'm very connected with the moon. That's another big
That's
thing.
nice. Yeah.
I showed you the
useful.
skulls and the pyramids, and so then I've got as I said, the hearts. These I call them like tumbles, because no matter whether it's a big one or I've got little baby ones, these are very very popular, because they're so tactile. You can like just put them in your hand.
Yeah.
And they're really comforting, and obviously because of the shape of the heart, the vibrational energy of a heart, they've got such beautiful energy. These fly off my stall. These do. I sell so many of these. And then I got what you call the wearables, which I'm wearing now, because they're your pendants that you can just take your own portable protective bubble around with you. Wherever you go, you've got your own protection then. And with these, the other core of myself is I work with the chakras, so everything I'm about is about your chakra alignment, being all balanced, which I'll just touch on, because these, the extra energy of being a chakra, you've got the extra layer of then working with that chakra as well as being the protective. So there's all sorts of layers to organite. It's infinite, especially like I started with that. It's been 6 years in the making now. like I've always worked with energy and vibration and frequency. As I said, that is me all over. However, I had been fascinated by it. I've known about organite from a very young age and was always in absolute awe of it, because I was like, wow, they look amazing. You know, like I used to follow the proper people, you know, and that were making the big stuff. And I was like, wow, that looks so complex. And then it wasn't until I got a little bit older, I just couldn't, one of my main spirit guides kept dropping it in. Organite, you need to be making organite. You work with energy and frequency, you need to be working. I was like, okay, I'm listening, to the point where it was so screamy I couldn't get it out of my head. So I looked it up, right, and I was like, oh my god, why didn't I look up this earlier? Just like, for me it looked so simple. From what other people have said, it's not so simple because of getting the what's the word, because my ones are quite slick. I've just got a natural ability to work with resin. Apparently working with resin isn't so easy. I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Okay, no, I didn't know that either.
Apparently it's very faffy. You can get bubbles in the resin, so it might not be... There's all sorts of complexities with resin, apparently, that people have tried, didn't like it, couldn't get on with it, right? But I just took to it like a duck to water. So I did it.
Which again just shows the alignment, doesn't it, really?
My first one about 6 years ago just nailed it straight away, and I was like, well, this is easy. But
they say it to someone that struggled with it.
Yeah, exactly. But over the years, they've evolved with me, you know.
Yeah.
So the more powerful of a healer I am, and the more energy and frequency on a more powerful level I vibrate at, they're reflecting in the nature of the aesthetics of my pyramid, you know. And now I've tweaked what materials I use a bit more. Like I'm totally up in the copper now, because the copper is so powerful. It just sends everything else like insane, you know. It's the energy power of it. It just amplified tenfold. The more copper spirals you put with it. But yeah, so it's really growing, my little business. I started off as well like just an online one, a bespoke. Well, that is the core of my resin organite business, is bespoke. Like I tailor make right from scratch. So people have expressed an interest to me, they'll pick like whether they want a pendant, a pyramid, a skull, and then I literally ask them to tell me what they want. You know, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, was kind of like, if someone knows what they're looking for, can you make them bespoke?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what the main part of my business is, bespoke. Like the only reason why I've got ones here now, like stock as such, is because I've been doing the bespoke thing for so long, which is what my business is about. Because again, like any therapist, energy healer, when I'm doing any healing session, then we've all got our own unique blueprint, you know. Every human's different. So it would be the same for my organites, you know. Everyone's different. So if you looked at my socials, like purely for my organite, then what you'll see is everyone, like all the past bespoke designs that other people have done. And until unless I've just put one out there, because people are very visual. So if I say I can offer this because I've got a new mould, say, people need to see what can be done.
Yeah, of course.
So I will chuck out the odd, this is an experiment, you know, just to show people what I can do, and what, not just people's bespoke designs. Like, don't get me wrong, if someone sees one and wants to replicate it, then I can do, if that's what they really want. But I'm generally more... I personally find that the bespoke ones, when people have chose to do it for their journey, because I can also put like charms, so everything's relevant to their reality, which I think that makes it more powerful in some respects.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're resonating with every single part of that pyramid, you know, that healing tool. So it's going to be more powerful than just the pure nature of it. So that's where I started off, and then I realised that there needed to be a shift of awareness. So the only way I was going to get out there, as rightly as people were saying, was to get at these wellness events, you know, and then the spiritual event, be in the community of this kind of thing. So I was like, okay. So again, I trusted. I didn't really chase it. People were like, no, you need to go now. And I'm like, no, I know when the time's right, and now is really not the time for me to get my head around that. And then as soon as I trusted, literally, no effort, I got headhunted. Someone saw me and was just like, I absolutely love your stuff. Can you be at my event, like at my wellness fairs? And then from that one, I got headhunted again or seen to go to another set of work. So it's just been a domino
Yeah,
effect.
it does go like
So
that.
I
Yeah.
yeah, so I haven't actually had to try at all. And you know what? I thoroughly enjoy it. Like really, really love it being out there in the world, and I just keep doubling my success at every single event I'm going to. Like it keeps just growing and growing and growing. But again, going back to attracting people, the people I'm meeting and the fascinating conversations you get with people being attracted to the stall. And it's interesting because someone said the other day, like she was into crystals and stuff, and I explained what organite was about, and she was just like, oh, this is really weird. She was like, I actually physically can't leave. I energetically can't leave. She says, the energy here is insane and I really love it. I was like, brilliant, that's what
Do you
it's
know
all
what?
about.
I had literally the other day, I had someone on my table, and I was called to do something. So I'm not a medium. I always say to people, I'm not a medium, but I am intuitive. And I was called to use a crystal in a way that I've never needed to use it before. But I was connected into a chakra. I was using a crystal, and the pull between both hands, I've never had it before. I couldn't move my hands. And I said to her
Right.
afterwards, my God, I've never been so magnetized to somebody before. Like, it was like a channel straight through from one end to the other. Just incredible. And that woman must have felt the same about your table.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I get it because I remember early days, it just exploded. Like, the popularity of my pyramids was just insane. And so one summer, I will never forget it, and my whole sort of table was just covered in pyramids. And I could see it in my animals. I only had a few cats at that point, and a couple of reptiles. But yeah, they were all buzzing, and I was buzzing. I could totally feel this energy from all these pyramids, and I was like, wow, this is insane. So I do get it, and I giggled. So I was like, oh, you must be really sensitive to all the, all the energy coming off from all these products. Yeah, it was very funny. Very, very funny.
Oh, well, that sounds absolutely incredible. It sounds like things are very aligned for you at the moment. Like it's really sort of going in the direction that's working for whatever they've got in mind for you. You will find out soon enough.
Yeah, it's quite eclectic, and I like that. I like being really eclectic because I like having loads of different strings because I'm never doing the same
Yeah.
thing. You know, there'll be one day where I'm doing a batch load of organite. There'll be one day where I'm doing sound healing. One day where I'm doing my women's group. You know, and then another day where I'm doing my bog standard photography or graphic design. You know, there's so many different things I do, or my animal work, for instance, my animal communication. So,
I think we all
yeah,
need that sort of like all those different avenues because I think they all lead to the same thing. You know, all that extra knowledge in different areas. It makes a difference to us. And it makes a difference to how we deal with people as well and how we help them and how we heal them. So, yeah, I do feel that, you know, the more women I meet like this, and I'm saying only women at the moment because that's just kind of the avenue it's been in.
yeah, for sure.
You know, it is, we need lots of different things and lots of talents and lots of skills and lots of qualifications because we want to learn constantly and it's what helps us help people.
Yeah, for sure. And I've always been a massive believer and advocate of that. Like when people go into the healing, personal growth, transformation, whatever you want to label it as, when we're growing as a human soul, I've always said it's very important to do loads of different things because you can't just, that is ultimate healing, that and growing. And we need loads of different modalities and stuff, which all beautifully interlink with each other.
Yeah.
As you beautifully articulated there, you know, it's a multitude of things, and again, it reflected in my healing. You know, there was so many things I did. It wasn't just the one therapy that I did, because I think then people can get quite stagnant because there's only so much of one thing you can do.
Definitely.
It takes you as far as it can go, and then you need something else. You know, and yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today because honestly, it's been really lovely listening to you talk about so many different things as well. Like, it's just been really, really lovely to listen to you, and I'm sure everybody out there has been quite fascinated as well. But thank you so much for joining us. And obviously, as always, I'm going to put all of Bobbie's details into the bio or into the comments of the YouTube video, which I'm sure is going to connect you back to the organite and anything else that you want to maybe chat to Bobbie about. She loves a chat. So honestly, she loves meeting people and she loves talking to people as well. So, you know, just hit her up. She'd love to have a natter.
That is me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, take care. Oh, nearly